Awesome. I'm practicing to be a DJ.
Yeah, excellent. so here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about nothing but Carnival of Souls. Just kidding.
Whee! I gotta go.
I know that's a one thing.
Have you been asked about the record before?
By this group of people, yes.
Once,
Yes,
about that, yeah.
Once is too many. That's right. No, we're gonna.
I intentionally pulled up everything I could find as far as what you did, just because I know you've done so many records, and it was going to be faster than going through my CD collection. But
Right.
So,
You can always find me at TobyWrightMusic.com, where I have a whole list.
Yep. And I guess one of the questions would be, probably one of the last great movie soundtracks as far as rock is Last Action Hero. Now, which was first in my memory? Did you work with them on that soundtrack for those two songs? Because it says produced by Alice in Chains, but I don't think that's accurate. And on the actual album, it doesn't have your name.
It's technically accurate
that
it was produced by Alice in Chains. And that was pre-Jar of Flies.
That's what I thought the timeline was. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the timeline on that. I was brought in to, I was begging their A&R guy at the time to please let me work with this band. I love this band. They're amazing. I can help them. They can help me. We'll have a great symbiotic relationship. He gave me a shot to record those two songs.
Okay.
A Little Bitter and What the Hell Have I?
Yep.
And so we went in with the movie people and we recorded them, and the movie people, it was just a big fiasco with those two guys because they really didn't know music and or study this band.
Right.
It's
kind of a disconnect because it's a wacky movie, not a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Right, bad
with a great
movie.
Soundtrack.
Right. One of the best soundtracks, I think.
Absolutely,
It was really cool.
Two original songs by Alice in Chains on a soundtrack.
Right.
I was like, what?
that one and Judgment Night stick out to me as ones that I've actually
that's
gone
right.
back to.
Too.
Yeah.
Right. I like Judgment Night as well. Yeah, but so, we went in and, just did our thing. And, then it came out and I guess, pardon me, Andy Wallace mixed it to begin with. And then later on, toward the end there, they asked me to remix because they didn't like it. And that's why I got Jar of Flies, because they didn't like Andy's mixes on those two songs.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because did he mix for Dave Jordan before, too?
I
was just curious because they were
so.
with him for the first two albums, I think.
They were with Jordan, and then, after Dirt, that kind of turned around for whatever reason.
Gotcha. So then the next part would be with that situation. So that was kind of like your test,
right?
Okay.
Right. I would say that, sure.
Yeah.
If I asked what it was like in the studio with them, because they had a kind of a turbulent history with drugs and stuff. Lane is an amazing singer, and Jerry, of course, a killer guitar player.
Right.
Did it come together easy? Was there any issues that you kind of had to deal with to get the thing done, related to their personal issues?
I never saw any of the personal stuff.
Yeah.
I heard about it, and it was like, okay. But I just, I chose to deal with the music, and because that's what I was hired to do.
Okay.
As far as personal lives and all that kind of stuff, some of it intermingled, but at the same time, I just, I wanted to steer clear of all that and get to the heart of what I was hired to do, which was make great music with them. Yeah. Right? And so was there hard days and easy days, to pull stuff out of people? Sure. Just depended on the day. Some days were really easy and some days were really hard. It just depended on the day.
That was the first record with the Inez. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like with Jar of Flies, though, kind of the story that I've heard is that you went in for something, there was like a studio time booked, but it wasn't intentionally to make like SAP Part 2, right? It just kind of...
It wasn't what?
That it wasn't for like SAP Part 2, like it kind of turned into something different, those sessions, or was it always a conscious effort to, we're going to do anher acoustic EP?
Their history, if you look at their history, was EP, album, EP,
which
album,
was awesome.
EP, album,
Right.
and the EPs were always acoustic, right? So, they were at the end of the Lollapalooza tour, and Jerry called me up and said, hey man, you want to do an EP with us? After I had done What the Hell Have I and A Little Bitter, right?
Gotcha.
They went out on that big tour. He called me from Australia, and I said, yeah, I'd love to do an EP with you guys. Okay, meet us in Seattle. I said, hey, man, can you send me some, you have any songs? He goes, yeah, I got a bunch of them, and I was like, cool.
Right.
And so, we went up there. We all met in the studio. I said, hey, how about, playing me some of those songs right now?
This is where I got it right. Yeah.
Funny thing about that, I don't have any.
That's
right?
what I thought, yeah.
And so, and he said, hey, do you mind if we jam for the next 10 days? Because we had 10 days of studio time booked. And so it was written, arranged, produced, recorded, and mixed in 10 days.
Yeah, that's the version that I got.
And it was the first EP to ever debut at #1.
Yeah. I got to tell you, that one, it's amazing that happened because they never leave my playlist. It's just a great, you just put it in, it transcends hard rock, and it's just, my God. And they had nothing written. That's pretty incredible. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, it was amazing to me to this day that all of that happened. You know what I mean? It was just stuff happens, and on a whim. And that we just, the thing in the room, the vibe in the room was that, and Jerry and I had discussed it, was that if something happens with this, cool. If we don't release it, that's cool too. At least we all had fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was it,
Yeah.
So when you go into it with that kind of a mindset, you can't go wrong.
Nope.
You know what I mean? If you're like, we're going to make the first EP to ever debut at #1, you'll never fucking hit your mark. Never.
I wonder if that sentence has ever been phrased before.
Yes, exactly. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Divine Intervention by Slayer. Wasn't Rick Rubin still kind of saying I produced everything at that time, or am I wrong?
Yeah. He was. I was hired as the engineer, and the guy to capture everything. And then it became quite apparent when he didn't show up at the studio a lot that the band and I were producing the record.
Okay.
And so we rallied him to say, hey, dude, look, we're actually doing all this production work. You're helping, but not to the extent that, and this was between them and him.
Yeah.
Because they were signed to him, period, right? And so, that's between them and him. We rallied, and, we ended up with co-production credits.
Okay.
So Rick Rubin...
It's the worst Slayer record, by the way.
Sorry to hear that. I think it's one of their best.
It's a good record.
Rick Rubin,
I like them all.
Okay, there you go.
how would you rate Rick Rubin as a napper on a
As a
couch?
what?
A napper? Guy that takes naps on the couch?
I don't know. I didn't see him very much.
Oh, that's what I've heard. He takes naps on the couch when he's
I'll tell
in
you
the
what,
studio.
He's an incredible mind.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, carved.
And
there's so many albums
some
I have.
of the shit that he does.
Sure.
I wish I had that touch.
Yeah.
You know, just like Johnny Cash is probably one of my favorite ever forever that he's done. That is just friggin' amazing. You know, you couldn't have caught that man at a better time, space, and the whole thing. You know.
Oh yeah.
I love the Red Voodoo record.
Yep.
And that era of Sammy, he had like 1 or 2, 3 records right after Van Halen that I think were really good.
Right.
What can you tell us about working on that album?
Oh, just amazing working with that guy. I loved him. I still do. I mean, I think that his departure from Van Halen and all the Van Halen, David Lee Roth stuff and all that kind of, it don't matter. I look at a performer as a performer, and he's actually one of the best. He's an amazing guitar player. He's a kick-ass singer. It's all about vibe, and I think that he just brings it, wherever he goes. And, I've seen him several times at shows and this, that, and, he's just a stand-up dude.
There's so much color and shape to the songs on that record as it goes through. A lot of different styles, but it all meshes and melds really well.
Right.
The title track is one of my favorite songs of his, Red Voodoo.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. But so I would have loved to have been there, but you didn't call.
He didn't call and invite you. Yeah, I had a blast working that record. That was fun.
Did he make you any Wabaritas?
No, but he was just coming out with the, what was it? Which tequila was it?
Cabo Wabo.
Yeah, Cabo Wabo tequila at that time.
Record had the recipe for a Wabarita.
Yeah, that's right. And because I remember we were talking about him, them doing a show and it being like a restaurant on stage, and they were going to serve Wabaritos, and he's like, man, you got to come over and just sit on stage while we do this show, and unfortunately it never happened, but it was fun to think about,
I got to tell you, I actually did not know this until we pulled this up. Mostly because I didn't see it in the producer. Deliverance, working with Corrosion of Conformity. Like, were you brought into when you were mixing, or you, like, what, any stories about that, or working with a band, or was it given to you afterwards?
I mixed that at Electric Lady.
Okay.
Downstairs in Studio B. And I love that record. I
love it too. That's my favorite, like, 90s, that genre record. Like, just sounds perfect. I like Wise Blood, but Deliverance better.
I agree.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, Wise Blood was like Deliverance, but a little less.
And that was right after it, right?
Yeah, it was the one right after. Those are the two that kind of like, when they changed their sound.
And Mike Frazier mixed that one, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, because I just had a great time working with those guys at that point. And John Custer, the producer, we just...
That's the name I thought, yeah.
Yeah, and I had worked with another one of the artists that he'd produced named Chris Whitley.
Okay.
Who was an amazing guitar player and, just had that beautiful, amazing tonality. And just I learned so much from Chris, who was retarded. But, John really brought the musicality out of the band. And I think, just like... Just mixing that record, the Deliverance record, I think, just kind of, I don't know, there's days when you just know you're kicking ass.
Right.
And then there's days that are like, I'm doing okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, and I don't really get along, or I don't really feel this song or something like that. And I didn't have any of that with any of that record at all. I was like, oh, this one's kick ass too.
Right.
And I put on the next song. Oh, fuck! This one's amazing.
But like
Clean My Wounds is like, wow.
What now?
Clean My Wounds.
Oh, it's great. Come on, Albatross, all that's great good stuff.
Amazing, epic songs.
Yes, and they still sound great too. I don't know if you've seen them since they've been. Yeah.
Actually, I'd say about a lot of your records.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I try to do, is mix music not for the moment, but for a classic sense of music, because I want you 20 years from now. And, it's been 20 years since I made those records, and they still hold up. And so in 20 years, I still want them to hold up. I don't want to, I was never a guy to follow fads. Like, oh, shit, it's high compression, fucking stupid volume time.
Right.
I still don't follow that fad.
Yeah.
I like music that be dynamic and have depth.
Right.
I want to hear the reverb. I want to hear the delays in the background.
Yep.
I want to hear left to right. I don't want it to sound like it's, an inch high and, 4 inches wide. Not into it. Don't care about how loud it is. I have a volume knob on my stereo or my phone
I can't
or
stand
whatever.
The brick walling. I know
you know what
saying.
I mean? Everybody does.
Yes.
So use it.
Yes. Yes. That's right. But like in that situation, so the album was already done. They gave it to you to mix, correct? Or were you actually there during the process?
No, I just mixed that one.
Right, exactly. So that one, is there ever a
situation like that? Does the producer hear the mix and then give you notes on what he wants to change?
That's what I was curious about, how that works.
Sometimes, like that one, he just, here, do something, and then the band was all there, right? So, the band would come in. I'd play the mix. They'd go, oh, I would need more of this, less of that, blah, 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 blah. And I'd just push around some faders until everybody was happy. You know what I mean? Because at that point, it's still my mix, and you can't become, like, so attached to it that you're not going to raise a vocal. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to destroy anything. It's going to make it better. And then, if you get a drummer that's always like, I need more drums.
Right.
Well, at a certain point, it becomes, I'm crying wolf.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or the singer's always like, more vocal, If the vocals are low, okay, I can see it. But, there's a certain, I try to explain it to people and musicians of, just think of an aquarium. How much water does it hold? A certain amount, right? And no more. You can't put one more drop of water into that aquarium once it's totally full.
Right.
So now let's put dye and colors in there. Okay,
right.
Red is the drums. This is blue is the guitars. Yellow is the bass. Whatever. Right? How much are you going to get in there? Well, if you want more red, then something else has to disappear and become less. So think about that. And as you think about that, let's listen to the song. Close your eyes and hear some colors.
Exactly. Yeah, he talks about colors a lot of times with music. How things sound. In that situation, you're given great songs to work with to mix. Has there ever been a time when you were given something on the mixing end, maybe earlier in your career, where you're like, I don't know what to do with this, or like it was very difficult to mix it?
Yeah, I mean earlier and later.
Okay.
It still happens.
Still happens. Sure.
I always know, what to do. Just mix the song, and make sure that everybody has a good balance. All the tonalities are good, and that you can hear all the instruments and their nuances.
Right.
That's the art of mixing. Period.
Right.
Like it's not about making the vocals louder or thinner or more compressed or this or that or the other. It's more about the whole making that song sound the best that it can for that moment given. Because as I explained to my artist as well, that we're here for your moment right now. Right. Give me the best that you can right now. In 3 to 5 years from now, you might look back and go, man, I could sing that song so much better now. Well, I certainly hope so. Because you've had that much more experience, right?
Makes sense.
So, yeah. Can we redo it? No.
Right.
It is what it is. But at the same time, it's like,
That's the beauty of music, because even for the listener, that moment in time, more than anything, music takes you back.
Exactly.
Movies don't do that. Television doesn't. You almost feel dated at that if they're not good. But music will always. So I know artists sometimes struggle with that, but I like it. I like the fact that you sounded raw and you grew, and I get to enjoy that progression. And
Right. And you're actually one of the few, because people have a lot of opinion about music and what's good and what's bad and what happened and this, that, and the other. And recently talking about the Kiss thing, one of the podcasters said about Kiss and that. There's guys out there that are afraid of the band, and there's guys out there that that don't understand the band. Toby Wright. And I was I beg your pardon. Like, what's so hard to understand about a band that wants to make a certain genre of record at a certain point in their career?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, obvious. Okay, I will help you do that.
You may have discovered that, but
I have, yeah.
They're pretty simple people.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. Come on. That's
Hello.
what it stands for, right? Come on. But
that's what I've been told.
So is it
Action Kiss? I love the record you did with them. My favorite band, but their fans are fucking nuts.
Yeah, they all have opinions. It's like, this one's my favorite, that one's my favorite, this one sucks, that one sucks. It's like, you know what? Those guys as a band have kicked ass since before all three of us, well, not all three of us were born, but a long time. Yeah. What, 50 years now?
Right.
Like literally?
Like 46, 47. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They wanted to do Revenge on steroids or whatever. They just wanted to amp it up, I assume.
Go do it.
Right, exactly.
Progression from Revenge. I really did.
Yeah.
I was so pleased when it finally got a release. It would have been nice to have an actual packaging put together for it.
I would have liked a real cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
The original one was awesome looking.
Instead.
But all I had at the time was bootlegs, and it was just like...
at the time, it was the biggest bootlegged record in the world.
Yeah. Who put that thing out?
Yeah, we know it was you, Toby.
Say what?
Yeah. Who put that bootleg out?
I don't know. I don't know. We all have our suspicions.
Okay, all right. As do I. But no, is it true that you're... Is it true that you are going to be remixing the Injustice for All album this year?
No.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not. I think.
I'm sorry. He told me you were over here.
No, he didn't.
No, I'm on time right now, but
that was put to bed by the band.
Understood.
And they want to just leave history as it was, and that's a beautiful thing. And
but there was actually a conversation?
Absolutely.
Oh,
we started a big ruckus about it because there was coming up on the anniversary of the record, and people wanted to hear the bass and all that kind of good stuff.
Right.
And James just said no. We want it the way it is. Thank you, and thank you very much for offering.
Yeah.
And so I love that they just came up and said, okay, no.
Okay.
I think
it's great.
Like to have both. You'll always have the regular record. You don't have to George Lucas it and destroy the original masters.
Right.
But I'd like to hear a remixed one. A lot of people would, obviously, but It's
But-
okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to repaint the Mona Lisa?
Why not?
You make her tits bigger or something? I mean,
Come on, you heard it first. You heard it here now.
Big tits.
yeah, right. Are you going to do that because you're a fan of big tits? I mean, come on. It's like,
I do like big tits.
yeah, but would you repaint the Mona Lisa?
No, I get where you're going here.
Exactly.
I'm just
So-
trying to make it difficult for you.
It is what it is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And history is what history is.
This guy's got some great analogies. He's got the Mona Lisa. He's got the aquarium. He's coming prepared. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
It's a pleasure. Hey, one last question.
Yes, sir.
Producers are somewhat, you're kind of faceless as a profession, even though millions of people know your work, right? But when you come to an event like this, you are now being recognized and talked to, because we're kind of the fringe. Is that kind of a unique thing for you when you come to something like this? It's like, hey, you're Toby Wright, and like that kind of stuff? Because you probably don't get it like a regular rock star would out in the world.
True,
right?
not like that guy right there.
Yeah. The updated jerk sock.
Kenny Olson just showed up.
But I do get recognized, and it's kind of fun, for the limited
Yeah.
people that show up. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wasn't taking a shot. It's the nature of the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
so-
No, I didn't think you were taking a shot. It's like,
Okay.
I'm not that guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's been seen by millions on stage. I haven't. I've
Right.
just sold millions,
Right.
or helped to sell millions of records.
So it feels good.
It feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And to sit here and talk to you guys about it is an honor.
Yeah, right on. For us too.
Because to me, it's just a job. And I love my job. I love
Right.
making music, and I'll do it till the day I can't do it anymore.
We also thank you for being, I think, one of the only 3-time attendees. You come all 3 years.
Yes, I am.
So you've done the trifecta of Rockin'
have.
Pods, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
applaud. Perfect timing. They didn't have to.
That was.
Yeah. But we know
And
you
I'll
have
be
a
here
bunch of-
next year too.
Oh, all right. What is that? What is that for the 4? Is there a term for
the
that?
quad.
4? The quad? Yeah, there we go. Quad.
Quadfecta.
Quadfecta.
If it's not a word, it is now.
It is now. That's right.
Please put
At the quad.
Done. All right.
trademark Toby Wright.
Yes. Perfect. Well, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it
gents.
very much.
Take care, you bet.